Yesterday, we asked for some trash talking. Today, we got a handful. Let's talk about it next.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me.
It's lunchtime. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Lunch with the Clydesdale. It is a chilly Tuesday afternoon here in Ohio. Good to be with you all. It is currently 13 degrees. Man, it is just freaking cold. And the older I get, the worse the worse it is for me to tolerate it. I used to love the cold. I used to love going outside, getting that fresh winter air. And now, man, hell with that. It is so dang cold. 49 in Austin, Texas. We got Frida, we got Vicky, we've got Amanda, we've got Meredith, Joseph, Trained Olive in the house. Man, 20s in DC. Our feel like temp was a balmy 1 degree at our house this morning. Yeah, we're probably somewhere around that. Yeah, wild day. But so glad to be inside, even though my basement is freezing. 30 in Nashville. Man, you think down in Tennessee it wouldn't be as bad, but that's below freezing too. Whew. So, okay. So what is going on, everybody? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm. If you could do that, it would be awesome. I would truly appreciate it. Yeah, holy cow. Down in Florida, it's 39 degrees. That would shut down the town when I lived there. I lived in Tallahassee. If it got down in the 30s, man, nobody came to work. Vicky wants to know if everyone is registered for the Open. I had a situation this weekend with my daughter where I had to get her some money over some like identity theft stuff. So I didn't sign up yet, but I will. I will definitely do it within the next week for sure. Frozen iguanas in Florida, I guess. Joseph Ramirez wants to know, did the refs screw up the NFL playoffs? We talked about this after the show last night, the Sunday night show on a Monday. Everybody complains about the judging in CrossFit. This weekend, man, I didn't have a dog in the fight until the Bears game. So I was watching the games, and I felt like the refs were not consistent in the way they called the games. So my answer, Joseph, is I do think they screwed it up this weekend. The other thing I can say is, like, the Bills, I think a couple of the plays could have been called differently, but they played bad too. So it's like, yeah, you could blame the refs, but in addition, you got to blame yourself too. Just like the Bears, like, they just played bad at the end of the game. They made some bad decisions. That stuff happens. You want to blame somebody else, but really you just have to look in the mirror. So yeah. I trained all of it. Snowed in North Florida this week. Man, I moved to Tallahassee, Florida in 1996. The first week I moved there, it snowed. I was moving from Pennsylvania. I moved to Florida. I thought, oh my gosh, now I get all this winter heat. It's going to be awesome. And it snowed literally the first week I lived there. And then, of course, it became just hellish heat from that point forward. But for a week, it wasn't like I really moved much. Frozen iguana sounds like a good name for a cocktail. Yeah. Hey, bartender, I'll take a frozen iguana. Yeah. I used to bartend in college, and I used to have a guy that would come in and give me like a nickname or a name, and I would try to come up with a drink that kind of represented what he would call it, right? Without anything. And the one I remember the most is he wanted a kryptonite. And so I took like melon liqueur and some blue, and I never have been able to pronounce it, blue caraca, and mixed them together to give this like clearish blue green to the drink with some ice and some like 7-Up. And it looked awesome, and it actually tasted pretty good too. But I would try to make up. So maybe I don't drink anymore, so I don't have the stuff to do it. But I'd love to come up with a frozen iguana or frozen. Yeah, did we say iguana? Yeah, frozen iguana. Curacao is how it's pronounced. Okay. Midori and blue curacao. Yeah. I think though I used the cheap melon liqueur and not the Midori. So rum and melon liqueur and something to make it green. Yeah, the melon liqueur was green, and the blue curacao was blue, and together it made like a prismatic looking blue green. And then yeah, you could have added vodka, rum, anything to it. It would have been fine. But you needed the fizz from like a 7-Up or like to make it kind of bubble, to give it that iridescent look. So anyway, the opening of the show was talking about trash talking. We talked about that yesterday, and how we need to have more trash talking to have more storylines. And man, who knew in the next 24 hours I was going to get a whole handful of it. So I'm going to start with this Instagram post by one Mr. Austin Hatfield. I don't know if you guys have seen this. On his Instagram post, I'm going to blow up the words here so you can see it. Bro, that is the weakest shit ever, being coached by the guy who programs your comp. And so Austin posted those comments that someone sent to him, doing bar muscle ups rapidly. And then the text with it is, Chihuahuas always bark at the big dogs. See you at the Mayhem Classic. So that's part one to this story. Then we have part two. And this is the first example of this. So this was a go-between. Let me get out of here. Where is that at? So I can see it up close. So anyway, it is between Dallin Pepper and Austin Hatfield. And at the top, I don't know if you can see that, it is Austin Hatfield putting James Sprague's Instagram handle and Dallin Pepper's, and then the word soft under it. On the other side, it says Ricky Garrard and Jay Crouch don't want that BTA, which I believe means beat that ass. But that's what I know it from football. So Austin posted that, tagging those in it. Dallin reposts it and says, imagine not being able to back it up at the games, with a yawn face. Mark Phillips, this is a trash talking we were asking for. Exactly. This is it, right down the fairway. So Dallin responds, imagine not being able to back that up at the games. Then we go to exhibit B of this exchange. Let me stop this share. Holy cow. I am all out of whack. We have this one where Austin comes back posting the other two comments. Imagine not being able to run or win a comp. Yawny face snail. Then Dallin responds to that by saying, I can't run and you still can't beat me. This stuff is awesome, man. This stuff is awesome. This is what I'm talking about. Now, aren't you more interested in watching Dallin and Austin go head to head at the next event? Don't you want to see who wins this? Because I sure as heck do. I am all bought in. I'm all bought in on these two going head to head at the next competition. I don't know when it is because Dallin's not doing Mayhem. And I don't know what they're doing at Wadapalooza, but I'm betting they're not doing individual at Wadapalooza. So the next time we will see this is either at a WFP event or the CrossFit Games. Mark Phillips says, if you lose, don't eat crow either. You got to double down. I agree. You just keep it coming, man. Until there's a point where it just, you're toasted on the smack talk, right? Like here's a great example that I've lived. The Bears and the Packers, for years, we were the nail, they were the hammer. We were getting hacked or hammered to death and never winning a game. And so for the Bears to talk trash talk during that time just became irrelevant. Nobody gave two shits what they said about the Green Bay Packers. Now, this year, they play 3 games, all determined on the last play or overtime of the game. And the trash talking is at new heights because it matters now. So as long as these two athletes are relevant through the season, this trash talking is freaking awesome. Joseph Ramirez, old school shit talking. Yes. This is what we need to pique our interest. So now we've got Austin Hatfield involved. We've got Colton Mertens involved. We've got the Boys Interrupted involved. I just would like to see it spread to the women's side a little bit. Some people talking some trash over there. And I'd also like to see a little more outside this group of people. If you didn't watch Boys Interrupted last night, Jason Hopper basically said he's coming to Mayhem and there are only 2 athletes that even scare him a little. And one of them is Jeff Adler, and he didn't name the other, but he said it was between Roman, Colton, and Austin. So once you figure out the other one, the other 2, he is totally dissing. And Colton is taking it as an insult to him already, putting that chip on his shoulder, and he's ready to do business. He is ready to defend himself at Mayhem against Hopper. Colton is just writhing, ready to go. Because Colton is one of those athletes that need the chip on his shoulder to motivate him to go forward. That's what he uses as his fuel, and it's awesome. Frida says, the sad thing is that it usually becomes personal when women do this. I guess. I think the sad thing for me is the person that it would be best at this isn't competing in our season. I think Laura has trash talked in the past. And yeah, she's probably, and we've talked about this yesterday, right? Danielle Brandon trash talks. I just don't think she's really good at it. And when someone comes back at her, she doesn't take it super well. Where Laura doesn't care what you think. So she's willing to say those things and she's okay with being the bad guy. But the bad part is she's established this really cool heel character that we don't even get to see in the game season. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope she signs up for the Open and she does the Open. I think that would be amazing for the women's side of the bracket. but I don't think she is. And I'm sad that she doesn't. Vicky, yeah, DB trash talks, but it's coming from taking it personally. Laura doesn't give a crap. Exactly. Joseph Ramirez, don't dish it out if you can't take the smoke. It's working for Danielle because nobody else is even doing it. And so it's made her wildly popular with the people in that, like, I don't give a shit world. Right. But she doesn't have a tough enough skin to like hold up to it yet. And maybe she will someday. Maybe she won't. Maybe that's just her personality. I don't know. But Laura has the tough skin. She really does not give a shit what you think at all. And I'm sad that that's not going to be a part of the season. If in fact she doesn't sign up for the Open. There's one other thing I wanted to show from Instagram before we kind of move on to other things. It's a new post by CrossFit featuring Tia Toomey. And I'm going to try to pause it to the right thing and then open it for you. But I think it's got kind of that message. So we all know that Tia is pregnant and most likely is not competing this season. So CrossFit put together this reel, and I'll try to blow it up as much as possible. Here's this.
Ladies and gentlemen, today makes it 8. I give you the great Tia Toomey!
So what's awesome about that is they know she's not going to be there. The championship is open for anybody to take, and they put in the line, who's got next? It's out there for everyone to take. And who's going to grab it? Who's going to grab it because Tia isn't going to defend it this year. Who is coming after it? And in the verbiage on this one, the most dominant games athlete of all time started each title run with the Open. Will we see Tia on the games competition floor again? If not, who's got next? It's right there. It's right there for everyone to take. Who's going to grab it? I thought that was a great marketing piece by the games team, because that's a storyline. That is truly a storyline that they're embracing. And I think that it's awesome that they're doing so. Awesome that they're doing so. I think that really sends a great message. It all starts in the Open. Everybody gets to play, and the championship is wide open for anyone to go after. Who's got it? Don't forget, our presenting sponsor is Thirdzy. Thirdzy is the sleep aid and recovery tool that I use every single night to get the best night's sleep I've had in years. You can go to thirdzy.com/Thirdzy and get your Thirdzy for 15% off. Or go to thirdzy.com, use the promo code Jazzy at checkout and get 15% off your order that way. Make sure you check that out and support them. They are the people that support us, and we appreciate them so much. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is I'm going to share another screen. And that is, not that. Okay. I saw this on Instagram today, and it was on Jenny Dent's Updates story. So I screenshotted it, and this was here. And I have some thoughts about this. So it's actually posted by, and I'm trying to read this, Coppola Kilo. Anyone remember the Central East regionals back in the day? Two-level competition, nowhere to hide. Top-level competition, nowhere to hide. Choices were made for you. Life wasn't fair. Elite guys were going to miss out. Gone are the days of fighting. Now it's mostly self-negotiation. And what's better for me, it's different now. It's just different now. So I know we all love regionals, and I love regionals too. I thought it was great for the community. I thought it brought a lot of fans to the ballpark. I thought that you had great competitions, but let's not fool ourselves. There was self-negotiation in the regional days. To make this statement, you're forgetting some very significant facts. Dan Bailey left the Central East and went to California and lived on a boat for a better shot at making the games. Margot Alvarez competed in like 3 or 4 different regionals, bouncing from regional to have better shots at the games. And they are just 2 of several people who bounced from hard regions to easy regions to have better shots at the games. It happened all the time. Things weren't chosen for you as long as you had a residence inside that region before, I think it was January 1st of the game's calendar season. You were then put in that competitive region for that year. So to say that it's different now, just different now, it isn't. Yes, Central East had a murderer's row of athletes in it at times. But a lot of people made the choice to get up and get out and move to a different location so that they had an easier path to the games. And I hate the fact that people are attacking, especially the Boys Interrupted, about turning down Mayhem. Mayhem is only one of 3-4 competitions in North America. People can choose other competitions for reasons other than competition. I said it yesterday. I said it last night. They all live on the West Coast. They all live on the West Coast. Why in the hell would you fly to Tennessee, have to land in Nashville, get a rental car, drive an hour to Cookeville to compete there? When you have Del Mar as an option, you have NorCal as an option, both in California on the West Coast, which are much easier travel destinations for everybody. That's for Dallin, Justin, and James. They're all on the West Coast. Those are so much easier to get to than Mayhem. Plus, it's their choice. It's the way the rules are built this year. Why are we attacking people for making a choice to go to another semifinal? I love Syndicate Crown. I love Wilson Pack. I think he's awesome. Why would I spurn him just to go to Mayhem? I find it just mind-blowing that people can't get their heads wrapped around this. And they forget the details of the regionals where people did this stuff all the time. All the time. John George echoes my all the time. All the time. Kenneth, are athletes picking based on programming they think will favor them the most? I think there are so many factors. To pin it down to one factor is unfair. I think travel is an issue. I think that schedule is an issue. I think programming is a fact. I think looking at the competition is a fact. If you're the Boys Interrupted, there's 4 of you. If there's only 2 or 3 slots at an event, half of you aren't making it. You just can't. So why would you put all your eggs in one basket that you know half of you and your crew aren't going to make it to the games? Jay Burst, it could go back to the old system, making them go only where they live. But that got people changed addresses. People said their address was different. Like, my God, there was a year where, Tyler Christophel and is it Bailey? No. They lived in the same damn house and they got put in 2 different regions because they reported a different address. There's so many different reasons why. Jonathan says Dallin picked Delmar because he thinks Delmar is cool and wants to compete there. That's a reason. There's so many reasons other than fear. Like saying that these guys are afraid to come is a little over the top. Ortega hated that system. Every system has been gamed. To say that regionals was a different time and done differently is just not knowing your history of the sport. Frida, if anything, they should limit the amount of comps. I agree. Vicky said that he was on the WOD Prep show last night with JY, and he was asked that, and he did say that he thinks that Delmar is cool and he wants to go there, and it's also convenient because it's closer to him now. I agree, Ortega. Mayhem is just trolling to keep the conversations going. I think that that's what Mayhem was doing, but then what it's caused now is all these people on the internet going after the Boys Interrupted. I watched their show last night, and people in the chat are all going, why aren't you going to Mayhem? Why aren't you going to Mayhem? Why aren't you going to Mayhem? I mean, just think for yourselves, people. Like, if you have 4 options, there's a variety of reasons why you would pick one other than that. The biggest concern is not getting big names to your event. The good lead to lower gate sales. I think I know what you're saying. That you're trying to get the best athletes there to get the best, the most amount of sales. Mayhem can only sell so many tickets, and they're going to sell out. They are going to clear their gate because the fire code on their building is only so much. It can only get that many people in the building, and they fill it every time they hold a competition. They get to that number. So, Andrew Sten, my mistake is expecting people online to actually think. You're right. You're right. Vicky, but it's got people talking about it, and then more so if it wasn't happening. I guess I think I'd want to talk more towards the event time when you want people to watch the stream. Because again, they're going to sell. Mayhem is going to sell out. They're going to sell out every year they hold a competition. Last year, I think they actually said they went over the fire code by accident. So they fill that as much as they're legally allowed to fill that building. And that's the charm of it. People want to go there because everything is so confined and so close, and you're rubbing elbows with CrossFit royalty if you go to that. And that is going to sell out every single year. I think it's actually a way to look at doing competitions in the future before you get to the biggest, like the games or something like that. Because when you watch Mayhem, you see the crowds, you see all the people there. It looks awesome when it's streamed. It projects a good image for the sport. Judy, who was there last year, says it's packed. Hard to spectate. It's more for the experience of being at Mayhem. See, they have so many people there, you can't even get near the floor. Anderson, I think Mayhem lost money last year. There's a recent video from them where Rich mentions not doing a live stream if they don't get a good broadcast deal. I know that they bemoaned the fact how much they paid for the games crew to come in and broadcast that event last year. And they paid a lot of money to get them. And every event organizer I've ever talked to, the biggest expense is the stream. The biggest expense is the stream. You have to we have to find lower cost ways to stream these events, or they're just not going to be streamed. They're just not. Ortega says Mayhem sells out and it's packed and I can't move around to shoot photos, but it's good. Yeah. Vicky says, I feel you, Judy. I'm short, so it was a struggle. I'd find a spot on the rail and not move. Yep. But everybody agrees when you go to those events, it's a great experience. It's a great experience. Yeah, there are issues with it. There are issues trying to find spots. But back to the original discussion point, we have had this issue forever that people are hopping regions, going to different competitions to benefit themselves and give them a better chance. It's been going on since I started watching CrossFit back in 2012. People were jumping regions. So to say that it's different now is just not knowing your facts about the history. Because just go look at the old CrossFit leaderboards, pick an athlete like Margot Alvarez, see how many regionals she participated in. When it shows the regional data on the side, you will see like she won the Midwest, she won the South, she won. It changes so often. And I love Margot. Margot and I are tight, but the fact of the matter is she just bounced from place to place. Judy wants to meet up with Vicky this year. That'd be cool. I love when people get to meet each other. Corey Leonard, I heard tell of a crew who can shoot a comp. Yeah, Be Friendly Fitness does that, I think. I think what Souza and Savon have done is awesome. But now here we are in the next year, and now they are wanted by two competitions. They're wanted by Syndicate Crown and they're wanted by NorCal, and they're both on the same weekend. And because they're one team, it's really hard to replicate what they do. I wish we could find a way to have a B team for them so they could do more than one. It just sucks the way it's kind of scheduled now, where two of the major North American competitions are on the same exact weekend. And that we cannot find a way to get a lower cost streaming service to both competitions and let them be able to broadcast. Sten says, if you're able, you go where you have the best chance to win. Plus there's prize money, man. If you want to win prizes and win money for these things, that's a factor too. Like NorCal always pays more than other competitions. So people will sign up for NorCal just for the money. I mean, we talked about last night, like if you're a bubble athlete and you didn't make any money at the games last year, why wouldn't you try for Mexico City and WFP, take the bag and let that help fund the rest of your season? That's the only thing I think that is where WFP can be of significance in the season. Just use them to fund your CrossFit game season or your competitive season. Go get the bag. Jonathan says, that's what I've been saying. You just say it more eloquently. Yeah. I think that you're going to see the WFP become the sport for the bubble athlete. The athletes that don't have the big dollar sponsorships, the athletes that don't get the automatic invites to different competitions. I think that's where you're going to see them kind of flourish. So the last thing I want to talk about before I head back to work is, I don't know if you guys watched Dave's Week in Review yesterday, but at the end of it, I saw a Dave Castro I've never seen before. And this really has nothing to do with CrossFit. It's just something that made me say, And at the very end of his week in review, he talks about the movie Zero Dark 30. Someone wrote in the comments that, do these memoirs and books and stuff that are coming out from different military people, are they designed, or are they I think he called it like, are they an op for the government to use as a recruiting tool? And he said absolutely. And then Kenneth says he was talking about the wrong movie. So Kenneth, if you can correct me, I'm just talking about his reaction to it all. Recruitment psyop, that's what it was asked about. And he said Zero Dark 30. Kenneth is saying that's the wrong movie. But there was a movie that was funded by the government and the Navy, and used real Navy SEALs to act in the movie. And he said it really created a divide in the service because what they were always preached not to do, the Navy did themselves and funded this thing as a recruitment tool. And it really created a divide with those people. And they started to write their memoirs, started to write their books, because their attitude was, they tell us not to do these things, to keep all this stuff to themselves. But then they went ahead and did it. And now they said, well, I'm going to do it too. If they're going to do it, if the people telling us not to do it are going to do it, then I'm going to do it too. And for the first time I'd ever seen a reaction from Dave that he was truly offended. Like, I've seen Dave upset. I've seen Dave mad. But he just seemed completely offended by what had transpired during this time. Kenneth is saying Act of Valor was the one with the real Navy SEALs. But both are recruiting tools for sure. Corey says, do as I say, not as I do. And Kenneth says, classic military. And I don't really want to have a big lengthy discussion about this, but I just wanted to comment on, like, I'd never seen Dave Castro offended. I've seen him upset. Like, when I volunteered at the games in 2017 and he did not like the way things were set up, he was angry, he was yelling, he was mad. Like, you see when someone like pushes a button on a comment on the Week in Review, this was a different look. This was a different reaction, and I'd never seen Dave have. It's like this one really hurt. And Jonathan said, yeah, it's a slap in the face. That's exactly what it looked like. It looked like someone had truly just backhanded him across the cheek, and it was a slap in the face. Kenneth said he did seem pretty uncharacteristically emotional at the end. It caught me off guard because I'm just not used to seeing Dave that way. And I just found it fascinating and wanted to bring it up. John George says he referenced Zero Dark 30. Yeah, but Kenneth says he thinks it's actually Act of Valor is the movie he's talking about, because that's the one with real Navy SEALs in it. But he said Zero Dark 30 was super popular. I don't know Act of Valor as much as I know Zero Dark 30, and he did reference the popularity of the movie, so I don't know. Jonathan says, yes, it's really shitty because people have gotten fired from positions for less and have gotten reprimanded for some dumb shit. And that's exactly like what he was saying. Like, here you are telling us we can't do this, and you go ahead and do it to use it as a marketing and recruitment tool. And so, yeah. Kenneth says Chris Pratt isn't a SEAL, but he did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Yeah. So I just found that very, very interesting, as just a topic. But, and then the funny thing was, then he went to, well, what made me want to be a SEAL was watching The Rock. And and the challenge of, would I be able to do that kind of stuff? And that's what sent him down the avenue. So it kind of ended on like a little bit of a positive note, that there was a movie that inspired him to be a Navy SEAL or special ops. And that's what pushed him into that avenue. A great Nicolas Cage movie. Yeah. I think Sean Connery was freaking awesome in that movie. Yep. John says he also said that was what got him interested in becoming a SEAL. Yep. Watching The Rock, that was kind of funny to hear. Yeah, not the movie I expected to be the inspiration for someone to be a SEAL. Fun movie, great movie. Not sure how realistic I thought it was, but sure. Kenneth says Dave went too introspective on. I don't know if it's too introspective. It's okay to be introspective, right? It's okay. He's not in the military anymore. He's not on an operation. I think people can be introspective. I think it's just a side of Dave we haven't seen, and it just was odd. I'm not upset about it. I don't think he did anything wrong. I just was caught off guard by the way he reacted to it all. Too much for him. He probably isn't used to it. I don't disagree with that statement. Kenneth says he actually loved it. Yeah, I loved the introspection. I love getting to know a little bit more about Dave. We don't really know the guy. He is so close to the vest about everything in his life that we don't really get to see that side of him. So I thought it was good. That all happens in like the last 5 minutes of the week in review. If you want to just check out that section, make sure to go check that out on Dave's YouTube channel. And then Savon did a week in review. I haven't caught his version of it, but I'm sure they talked about it there too. So with that, that's about all I have for today. It's awesome to be with you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, hit that like button. It's free. Really helps us out when we see those likes on there. If you didn't like what I said, hit dislike. That's cool too. Just love the engagement, and I love that you guys participate in these discussions, and can't wait to do it again tomorrow. Also, Thirdzy is our sponsor. Make sure you support them at thirdzy.com/Jazzy, or just go to the website and use Jazzy as the promo code. It'll get you 15% off everything. Dave uses his SEAL training every time he makes one of those week in review. If you notice how he talks and pauses to think about what to say and how to say it in the body language. I don't disagree. The original lunchtime CrossFit show. The original. Thank you, Kenneth. Jody, sorry couldn't chat. I was in full design mode. No need to apologize. We all have jobs. We all have stuff to do. I totally understand. And glad to see you too, Jay Birch. Go pay the man. With that, we'll see everybody next time on Lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.